Hey Marvin Elementary, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope the teachers are doing well. I go by the name of Five Fingers. You can call me Five. I am an artist, a street artist. I'm an author. I'm a writer. I'm an activist. I'm a DJ. I do a lot of little things. All dabble in art. I was born and raised in Norwalk, Connecticut. Moved out to California when I was a little kid with my parents for a little while, and then we moved back here. When we got back, I was around 5, kindergarten age, so I was enrolled in Jefferson School in kindergarten there. My mom enrolled me to Jefferson School. I would doodle and draw on anything and everything. I knew I loved art. I just loved drawing. I loved watching cartoons on TV. I loved reading the comic books and the comic strips and everything that's in the newspaper and on TV. And then I became obsessed with being able to draw cartoons. So what better way to draw cartoons than to almost copy and mimic what you see on television or what you see in the comic book. So I would take we would record the shows. I would record the shows, and when I got home from school, I would take a piece of paper and I would put it on the television and tape it, and I would sketch around. I would trace it. I would trace a transformer or another cartoon character that I was in love with, and I would trace it and I would learn how to draw it. So then that way, if I traced it enough and I could see it there, I knew the line work of the cartoon and how simple it was. So then as I got older, I started developing my own style and started trying to draw as many artists do. They want to capture the perfect picture or the perfect drawing of someone, something, and I became obsessed with that, with realism and painting that way and drawing that way. And then I decided that that's what we have cameras for. And again, there's people out there that can do realism really well and love that, and it's for them. And again, art is there's a spectrum of art. Music, painting, all kinds of painting, all kinds of styles. But for me, it became a little too much work for me, where I knew I can just take a picture of it. So I started going to more abstract, which is more just shapes and colors. And so as I got older, I began experimenting with different styles, but then also as I got older, I got more into sports. And by high school, art was kind of there, but it was always in the back seat. It was always in the back of my mind, and I would draw, and I took all the art classes, and I loved art. But, for me, it was sports. I wanted to be a famous basketball player, a famous baseball player. So, I would be home, and I was a shy kid also. So when I'd be home, I'd stay home and I'd draw a lot, and I'd, write down things, or I'd read. And that helped me cope with a lot of anxiety. I dealt with a lot of anxiety and stress growing up as a kid, and that helped me to get through it or overcome it or express myself of some sort. So it was an outlet of mine where I was able to not only express my feelings into the artwork, but also just kind of release. It was like a release of just emotions that I had built inside me, and so for me, a big deal was moving forward. I became a senior in high school, and you get asked that question of what you want to be when you grow up. And for me, again, that was anxiety inducing. That caused stress for me was I don't know what I want to be. I was 17 at the time. I don't know what I want to do for the rest of my life. So then, you get asked that question of what you want to be in life, and it's hard. It's a hard question to answer at such a young age. I was 17 at the time, and my teacher looked at me and said, "Well, you want to go to a school that has sports, but then also has art program." So I decided, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. So I ended up going to NCC to figure it all out. And I went to NCC. They had a great art program, graphic design program, and fine arts program. And I went there for a couple years just to learn, to see what was going on. So then I ended up transferring to Sacred Heart University, where I ended up graduating. And then I entered the workforce. And once I entered the workforce, it was a 9-to-5 job where, I had responsibilities, I had bills to pay, I had rent to pay, I had mortgages to pay. So I had to put everything aside and put everything to the side that I loved, including art. So that caused a little bit of stress. And then, being that you enter the real world and you're doing 9 to 5, you forget sometimes who you were as a little kid. It's always important to remember the little kid inside of you. And I forgot that for a little bit. I forgot that for a while because I got roped into the adult world of 9 to 5 job, responsibilities, and then stress, anxiety. I couldn't sleep at night, and I had insomnia, and so I started painting a little bit again. So this is the interesting part. I found out about an art show in New York City. And mind you, when I was in high school, I used to graffiti. I used to catch a train into New York City and do graffiti there with a couple friends of mine. So the museum, the gallery, was in Manhattan. I found out about this exhibit, and it was an all-women's exhibit. So I went there and I fell in love with the gallery, and I love the gallery and I love the pieces there, and I went there to support all the women that were in it. And I found out through Instagram what the cause of the show was, for women, to support women. So I went in and I supported the art show, and then the next exhibit that they had, the next show that they had, I said, I'm gonna go back in there and I'm gonna bring a piece of my own. I'm gonna bring a piece of my own and I'm gonna sneak it in there. So I did that, and I painted what I thought was fantastic. I loved it. So I brought it to a couple galleries. I showed some galleries and they turned me down. They said no, one gallery to another. And at first, I got mad. I got upset because to me, this was my life's work. This was, mind you, I was only 20 something, and this was my life's work that I was gonna sell for millions of dollars. And I brought it to gallery after gallery after gallery, and they all said no. Time went by, I got a little older, and then I started thinking, who are they to say what art is? Growing up, I felt like art comes from the soul of each person. So your art, her art, his art can be completely different, and it could mean the world to you. And I want to paint for myself and get it out there. So I just started painting. And I would paint on pieces of wood and on canvas, and I would leave them out in the street. And because social media, I started the hashtag My Gallery is Outside. And I didn't want to paint on walls and destroy property, so what I did was I started painting on big canvases and pieces of wood, and I would leave it around surrounding towns and states, and whoever found it got to keep it. So it was a scavenger hunt. So I started the scavenger hunt. So when I went into New York City for that exhibit, I decided to bring a painting of my own. It was an anonymous piece, and eventually they found out it was me through the hashtag. So I put the hashtag on there. I went to the opening. They invited me back to the opening. I spoke to a woman who's a yogi who does yoga, meditates, and I told her, I said, listen, I work 9 to 6, constantly working. My mind is always going. My brain can't stop. I suffer from anxiety, but yet, I can't sleep. And I try to meditate, but it doesn't work. So what she said was, paint. Your meditation is to paint. Everyone has a different meditation. So paint until you get tired. Paint and don't stop painting. So this was 6-7 years ago, so I kept painting. I came home, I started painting, and I haven't stopped painting. I paint whatever comes to me. Sometimes there's just words, sometimes there's figures, sometimes I see stuff, sometimes I hear things, and I just put it down. I write it in my little notebook or on my phone, and when I get home, I paint and I paint and I paint, and I keep painting. And that goes with anything in life. Anything in life that you do, you have to put in that 10,000 hour rule, right? Where it's, you put in 10,000 hours towards your goal and you become what you want. It helps guide you towards what you want to be. You want to be a pro, then you put in that time. It's about putting in the work into what you want to do. So it doesn't have to be art, it doesn't have to be sports, it could be writing, it could be music, it could be anything you want to do. You put in that time, you're going to get it back and you're going to see results. Staying in Chicago for a little bit, and I stayed there for about 2 years, and when I was out there, I got notification from back home that there were a couple hateful flyers that were posted or shared online, and they asked me if I could do something. It was a rainy night, and I just started doodling on my notepad. And I started doodling around, and I came up with different phrases. Now love more than ever, love now more than ever, more love than ever. And then finally I got it. It was Love More Than Ever. And I remember the moment because I saw it there. And I thought it was the most perfect thing, where it's 16 letters. Each word has 4 letters across. It makes a square or a triangle depending on how you stack them. And it was perfect. And it got right to the point where I realized that's how I felt all my life. I felt like we always need love. Everyone has something that they love. They love their parents, they love their dogs, they love their art, so everyone has something that they love. So when I decided upon Love More Than Ever, that was more to uplift you guys and to uplift everyone around me that I can affect in any way, shape, or form. So I started to write that, and I wrote that on canvases, and I painted it on canvases, and I painted it anywhere I could. In Chicago, I was going around, I got stickers made, and I was going around putting this stuff everywhere. And it started going viral in Chicago, and people started following me and tagging it and hashtagging it, and I started putting it everywhere. So I brought it back here one weekend. I came back here and I brought it here, and I started flooding the streets. I had stencils where I was spray painting on the street because I wanted to get the word out that Love More Than Ever was a movement to uplift each other. The movement is to help one another. The movement was made to uplift each other, regardless of sex, color, ethnicity, background, anything, religion. Regardless of that, Love More Than Ever was created to uplift one another, to help one another. And I started the movement because once I got it out there, people started responding and sending me messages that they just left the hospital and lost a parent, and when they looked down, they saw the stencil, and that meant the world to them. Or a little kid that had cancer, and I sent them a packet of Love More Than Ever stickers and artwork, and that made them feel extra special, and they loved it. And it became this movement where I wanted it to be wholesome, and I want it to be where, what it means to you can mean something different. Love means something different to everyone. That's what we need now in this world right now. We need love more than ever. We need love. We need love more. And it doesn't even have to be love more than ever. We just need love in general. We need love in this world. So I did turn it into a book. So I turned it into a book, and people call it a children's book. I try not to. It's a book for kids of all ages, including adults. But it's a book that speaks on emotions, and it speaks on a few things that I went through, a few feelings that I went through as a kid, but it speaks overall about how we are all the same. Doesn't matter where you come from, who you are, we are all the same. Inside we have bones and blood, and we are all the same. No one's better than anyone else. So the book speaks a little bit on that, and so I wanted that to be my first book. I am working on the second and third book now. Hopefully it'll be done by the end of the year. I think it will be. So hopefully I get those books out. But the first book, I want it to be the little book of big love, and spread as much love and positivity as possible. I'll show you a quick video. It is sped up a little bit of me, how I paint, and what I go through.
There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place can be much brighter than tomorrow. And if you really try, you'll find there's no need to cry. In this place, you feel there's no hurt or sorrow. There are ways to get there if you care enough for the living. Make a little space to make a better place. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me.
Okay, so that's my time. I have to go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to always love more than ever, and be kind, and spread as much love as you can to your teachers, your parents, everyone that's in your life. And like I always tell people, if you have to reach out to me, you can send me a message, have your parents send me a message, have your teachers send me a message, and I will answer any questions that you guys have. You can email me through the website, and I'm available, and I will try my best to answer every single question. But just know that I'm here, and always, always, always love more than ever. Take care.